Hey guys, we are going to do Algebra Nation Section 1, Topic 9 today. We are going to multiply with polynomials. So on the one before, we added and subtracted polynomials while also distributing a piece through it. So that was kind of multiplying. Now we're going to multiply like whole polynomials with each other. The beginning of your notes has stuff about algebra tiles, and we're not going to do that. So go ahead and go to page 24. And we are going to start with this part of our notes. So we are going to multiply today. We're going to distribute. I'm also going to show you a way to use a table, and then you can choose which way you like best. And then the way I do it kind of changes based off of what I'm given in the beginning. Okay, so starting off here, I'm going to use the distributive property to find the product of 15x minus 9 and 3x plus 24. So remember, product means to multiply. So we're going to do 15x minus 9 and 3x plus 24. So we're going to distribute. Okay, so I'm going to distribute my 15x to both pieces of my second parentheses. Some teachers call this FOIL. It only works when it's a 2 and 2. I'm just going to say distribution. So we're going to distribute 15x times 3x. And then we're also going to do 15x times 24. Okay, and it is a positive 15x. I'm going to put a plus sign right there. Okay, so I'm going to do 15 times 3, that gives me 45, and x times x gives me an x squared. Next, I am going to do 15 times 24, that's going to give me 360x, and so I had multiplied both pieces by 15x. Now I am going to distribute negative 9 to both pieces. So I'm going to do negative 9 times 3x and negative 9 times 24. Negative 9 times 3 is negative 27x. Negative 9, let me do that. Negative 9 times 24 gives me negative 216. Okay, so after you distribute your pieces, just like yesterday, or 2 days ago, after you would distribute, you would then combine like terms. So here I've done my distribution. Now I'm going to combine like terms. Remember, like term means it has the same variable and the same exponent attached to it. And I'm also going to put it in standard form. So I'm going to look for my highest exponent first, which is an x squared. Nothing else can combine. Nothing else has an x squared. So we're going to start off with 45x squared. My next piece is just an x, right? Power of 1. I see two of those. I see 360 and negative 27. So if I do 360 minus 27, I get a positive 333x. And then next is going to have an exponent of 0, which means there is no variable at all, so just my constant is left over. So we're going to finish this equation with negative 216. All right, and so this is my simplified polynomial, and it's in standard form. All right, the next one I am going to do using a table or a diagram to show. Okay, so this time I have 3x plus 2y times 4z and 3y. So I'm going to make a table. So I'm going to put 3x and then positive 2y. And then I'm going to split apart my next one. 4z, that's not a z. There we go. And positive 3y. Notice I keep the sign with it. Okay, so we're really making like a multiplication table. Okay, So what we're going to do is we're going to do 4. So we're going to multiply these two together. Okay, so 4 times 3 gives me 12. And then xz is just going to stay xz. All right, my next, I'm going to multiply 4z with 2y. They cross over here. 4 times 2 gives me a positive 8. And then z and y, we're just going to write them in alphabetical order. So we're going to let it be yz. Do the same thing across the bottom. So now we're going to do 3y with 3x. 3 times 3 gives me a positive 9. X times y, again, we're going to keep it alphabetical. We're going to keep it xy. And then this last corner, we're going to take 3y, multiply it by 2y. 3 times 2 gives me a positive 6. Y times y this time gives me a y squared. Okay. So once we fill in all the different pieces of our table, then we can see if any of them have like terms that I can combine. This has an xz, nothing else has an xz. This has a yz, nothing else has that. xy, nothing else has that. And this is just a y squared. So in this case, I cannot combine anything. So they're each their own individual term. There will be no combining like terms. But I'm going to write it as one long polynomial. So we're going to have 12xz, then plus 8, sorry, my pen is being weird, plus 8yz, plus 9, there we go, xy, and then plus 6y squared. And that's as simple as that one can get. None of the terms have the exact same variable and exponent, so I cannot combine anything. All right, let's move on. All right, so for this one, we have x plus 5 times x plus 2. So we can distribute, or we can use a model or like a table to do this one. I'm going to distribute with this problem. I'm going to take my first x and distribute it to both pieces of my other parenthesis. So I'm going to do x times x, and I'm going to do x times a positive 2. And my x is positive, so I'm going to put a plus sign there. Then I take my 5, and I'm also going to distribute that to both pieces. So it kind of looks like a rainbow. So I have positive 5 times x, and then I get positive 5. Sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Positive 5 times 2. X times x gives me x squared. X times 2 gives me 2x. 5 times x gives me 5x. And 5 times 2 gives me 10. All right, I've done my distribution. Now we're going to add like terms. X squared is my highest exponent, and it's the only one there, so it's going to stay in front. I have two pieces with just an x, 2 and 5. Add those together to give me 7. And then I do have a plus 10 on the end. So it becomes x squared plus 7x plus 10. All right. Number 2 has x minus 7 squared. Now we have to remind ourselves that when something is being squared, it's being multiplied to itself. So like 5 squared is 5 times 5. Negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2. So here, x minus 7 squared is x minus 7 times x minus 7. Okay, you have to multiply it to itself. And then we can do our distribution and our foiling. So x times x, that gives me x squared. X times negative 7 gives me negative 7x. Negative 7 times x gives me negative 7x again. And then negative 7 times negative 7 gives me a positive 49. And I can combine like terms here in the middle. So I have x squared. Negative 7 minus 7 gives me negative 14x. and then positive 49. Okay, if you tried to just distribute the squared, if you took x minus 7 like this, and tried to just say, oh, well, that's just x squared and then negative 7 squared, well, then you only get x squared minus 49, and notice that's not the same thing. Okay, so you cannot do that. That is not right. You have to expand it and multiply it to itself. All right, this time we have 3y plus 2x times 5x minus 6xy minus 7y. Okay, so this is one where I'm going to use a table because I can distribute. It gets very long and gets kind of messy when I have like a 2 with a 3. So I'm going to make a table out of this. So I'm going to put 3y on the side and then plus 2x on the side. And then on top of my table, I'm going to do 5x. I'm going to do negative 6xy, and I'm going to do negative 7y. Remember, their signs come with them. All right. So now we're going to multiply using my table. So here, 3y times 5x. Well, 3 times 5 gives me 15, and then xy just stays xy. All right, we're going to do it next column. So we have 3 times negative 6 gives me negative 18. There is just one x, so that's going to stay. But look, I have y times y. That gives me a y squared. And then the last column, we're going to do 3 times negative 7 to give me negative 21. And then y times y, which gives me y squared again. All right, do it again, but this time, I'm going to show you, I'm going to take 2x, and I'm going to multiply it to 5x, negative 6xy, and negative 7y. See how they cross over each other? That's why we're multiplying each piece. Okay? All right, so this time, so 2 times 5 gives me 10, and x times x gives me x squared. My next one, we have 2 times negative 6, which is negative 12, x times x, which is x squared, and then we do have a y. Here, 2 times negative 7 is negative 14, x times y just stays xy. Okay, so remember, after we fill in our table, we look for anything that are like terms, okay? So I see an xy right here, and I see xy happening again in this bottom corner. So those are going to be like terms. Let's see here. That's xy squared. I don't see that. That's just a y squared, just an x squared, and then x squared y. Okay, though nothing else is going to be like terms, so I can't combine anything else. Okay. Okay, but the pieces that were the same, I can put together. I can do 15xy minus 14xy, right? 15 minus 14 gives me 1xy. And it is a positive one. So that's the piece that I'm going to use in my equation. Everything else stays separate. Okay. When it comes to order, I'm just going to go alphabetically. So I'm going to start with 10x squared. Then I'm going to do minus 12x squared y. Then I'm going to do plus 1xy. Then minus 18xy squared. And then minus 21y squared. And go through one more time and just make sure none of those pieces are the same. They're not. So that's how that problem is done. All right. All right, I want you to pause the video, and I want you to try this one on your own. Okay, so go ahead and pause it and then come back. All right, check your answer with mine. You should get 18x squared minus 59x plus 35. All right, you good? You good? Okay, number 5. We got lots of stuff going on with number 5. So what we're going to do here is we're going to follow PEMDAS. We're going to follow our order of operations. Okay, so my order of operations tell me to parentheses, then exponents, then multiply, then I can add and subtract. So looking at this one, these first two pieces together is multiplication, right? So this is multiplication. I also have multiplication here using that 7. I can distribute the 7. So there's 2 cases of multiplication that I have to do before I can start adding things together. So I'm going to distribute my first 2 pieces, my 2 binomials together. So I have 4x times negative 9x gives me negative 36x squared. Then I'm going to do 4x times 3, which gives me positive 12x. Negative 1 times negative 9x gives me positive 9x. And then negative 1 times 3 gives me negative 3. I can combine those 2 middle pieces. This side simplifies to negative 36x squared. That's going to be plus 21x and then minus 3. All right, my other side, we're just going to distribute 7 to all of this. This is like what we did on section 1-8. Okay, so 7 times 13, what does that give me? 91. So that becomes a positive 91. 7 times 5x is positive 35x. And then 7 times negative x squared, well, positive times negative gives me a negative 7x squared. Okay, I don't have any like terms, so I'm just going to drop it the way that it is. And from here, we're going to try to combine like terms that I see. All right, my highest exponent is a 2. So I see negative 36 and negative 7. So that gives me negative 43x squared. All right, after exponent of 2 should come exponent of 1. I see 21x and I see 35x. So add those together, we get 56. And then we'll finish our equation with my constants. So I see a negative 3 and I see a 91. So that's going to leave me with a positive 88. And that is our simplified equation. All right, so 2 different kinds of multiplying here before we got to add. All right, beat the test. Which is equivalent to 3x minus 8 times 4x plus 2? All right, well, I'm going to show you some testing strategies. I'm going to check my answer choices as I work out the problem. Okay, so first I'm going to do 3x times 4x. Well, that gives me 12x squared. Notice they all start with 12x squared. So, okay, that's fine. At least I know I did it right. I didn't get to eliminate any questions, but I know that that part is correct. All right, now we're going to do 3x times 2. That gives me a positive 6x. Okay. Remember, we combine like terms a lot, so I'm not going to check anything off just yet. Negative 8 times 4x gives me negative 32x. And then this finishes with negative 8 times 2, which gives me negative 16. So the only pieces that I can combine here are my 2 middle pieces. So I know I have 12x squared, right? That's in all my equations. 6 minus 32, though, is going to give me negative 26x. Oh, look at that. And then we have minus 16. So that can't be it, that can't be it, that can't be it. D has to be my answer. This is the only one that had the minus 26x in the middle also. Okay. Last one. Select all the expressions that are equal to this lovely expression. Okay, well then let's work this baby out. Okay, so I'm gonna do the work above it. I'm gonna move this down a little bit. I know you have a lot more space in your books. So I'm gonna move that down. Okay, so 7x minus 4x times 2x minus 5. Okay, why I have to distribute negative 4x to both of those pieces? So that becomes 7x. Negative 4x times 2x gives me negative 8x squared, all right? Negative 4x times negative 5, well, negative times negative gives me a positive. That'll be 20x. All right, and we're going to distribute this 9 also. So 9 times 2x gives me a positive 18x squared. 9 times negative 5x gives me negative 45x. And then 9 times 3 gives me 27. All right, let's simplify. I see negative 8x squared plus 18x squared. So that gives me 10x squared. Then I see 7x plus 20x minus 45x. Okay. Oh, where's my calculator? I'm gonna use my phone. So what was it? It was 7 plus 20, which is 27, minus 45, which is going to give me negative 18x. And then my constant on the end is going to be plus 21. I lied, 27. 9 times 3 is 27, isn't it? There we go. Okay, here we go. So I want to check off the boxes that equal that same polynomial. So here, let me make sure I added correctly. Yes. All right, so this one says 10x squared, which is good, minus 8x. Nope, that does not match because of that piece. So that one's out. 10x squared, okay, I like that. Minus 18x, okay, plus 27. Yes, that one matches. 24x squared, nope, right away, that's not right. Okay, they're going to make us do some work for these last couple. Here, it looks like we need to distribute that 2. So that gives me 10x squared. All right, so far so good. 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8x. Uh-oh. Not going to work for me. That's not true. All right, my next piece. So here we go. 3x times 2x is going to give me 6x squared. And then 3x minus 5 gives me negative 15x. So we're going to add that with what's already here. All right, so combine like terms. 6x squared plus 18x squared, that does give me 24x squared. Look at that. Already can't do it, can I? Because I need 10x squared. So, nope. That's gone. Last one, 5x times 2x gives me 10x squared. 5x times negative 9 gives me negative 45x. 27 plus x, or times x, excuse me, gives me 27x. And then 27 times 1 gives me 27. Combine like terms in the middle. This gives me 10x squared. All right, so far so good. I like that. 45 plus 27 does give me negative 18. So I do like that. And then we have plus 27. So my last one matches also. So it was the second one and the last one. All right. Upload your notes. The next time we meet, we will be doing a review for your test for Unit 1. And we will be testing. So reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a good one.